Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, migrant family crossings have nearly tripled in the past 2 months.
The deadly heat wave continues to burden major cities in the USA.
Plus, Houston ISD is getting rid of librarian positions at 28 schools to make room for disciplinary centers.
We have cooled down just a little bit, but that heat you just saw, that will return to South Texas in the coming days. We'll talk all about that and more, but first, here's Gina.
And the athlete of the week is getting ready for the regional tournament next week. That and more in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. Victoria police report Wednesday night at around 6:30, officers responded to the area of 1300 North Lewis Street in response to a fight. An investigation found 2 men were involved in a fight when 1 man was stabbed. That man was transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The other man in the fight left before police could arrive to the scene. Victoria says they believe this incident was isolated.
A CUERO man sentenced to life in prison. 53-year-old Alberto Gutierrez pled guilty to the charge of continuous sexual abuse of a child under 6 years of age. During a jury trial, the child victim testified. The minimum sentence for this charge was 25 years in prison.
And an El Campo man indicted on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The El Campo Leader News reports the Warren County grand jury returned a 4-count indictment against 21-year-old Robert Abel Johnson, accused of ramming his car into a teenager outside a local motel 2 months ago on purpose. If convicted of any or all counts, Johnson could face up to 20 years in prison.
Gasoline prices in Victoria take a big jump for the 3rd straight day. AAA Texas reports the average price for a gallon of regular gasoline in Victoria surged by 7 cents Thursday to $3.35 a gallon. Average gas prices in Victoria have risen 24 cents a gallon in just 3 days. AAA Texas reports the average gas price per gallon in Victoria 1 week ago was $3.07.
This month is the planet's hottest on record by far, with scientists saying this is the hottest in around 120,000 years.
And right now, around 150 million people, that's about 45% of the U.S. population, are under heat alerts. Extreme heat that's proven deadly, now expanding into the Northeast as it threatens the nation's largest power grid.
Access to cooling is a matter of life and death.
Life-threatening heat now striking the Northeast.
New York City is now under an excessive heat warning.
In Northeast states where many places aren't built to beat extreme temperatures, the heat index is forecast to reach over 100 degrees, triggering emergencies in multiple states.
Heat kills more New Yorkers every year than any other kind of extreme weather event.
The number one weather-related killer is heat. 600 people die annually from its effects.
Blistering temperatures triggering an emergency for the nation's largest power grid, which supplies power to more than 65 million people across the Northeast and Midwest. The company, PJM, saying on its website, quote, a dedicated team of operators uses sophisticated technology to balance supply and demand and direct the power grid 24/7 from PJM's control rooms. In Arizona,
oh my God, this is hell on earth, I guess. You know, it's just that hot. And this is probably the worst July we ever had.
25 people have now died from sweltering heat in Maricopa County. The Wildlife Center in Phoenix says lines have formed outside the intake windows as people come across animals falling victim to the city's record-breaking temperature streak. Farm animals are also suffering in the heat alongside humans.
They don't want to eat quite as much, just like any of us, just not feeling quite as much energy.
I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
And now let's take a look at your forecast with meteorologist Howie Gordon. Howie, how's it looking out there?
Well, I mean, I don't want to say it's on the cool side. It's on the cooler side, closer to normal. But hey, we had a lot to give. But as you see these temperatures right now, these are going to shoot up later on in the week. The high pressure is going to come down, clear out our skies some more, push down in the atmosphere, and with some moisture returning, yeah, you might add 15 degrees or so to some of these numbers. Winds calming down a little bit. Hey, just around that 10 to 15 mile per hour range. I'll take gusty when we have warm weather. So this evening will be in the 80s, overnight dropping down to just 81 degrees. Now, as I just mentioned, we're looking for rain. We've had a little rain. The rain chances will decrease the heat will turn back on. We'll talk more about that in my full forecast in just a little bit. Karina, Don?
Howie, thank you. After years of delays, there is progress in the securities fraud case against suspended Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. KXAN reports a hearing was scheduled for August 3rd in Harris County. Paxton faces felony charges and is accused of defrauding investors in a tech startup. The Texas Court of Criminal Appeals ruled last month the case should remain in Houston.
The number of migrant families with children crossing the southern border has nearly tripled in the past 2 months. NBC News reports earlier this week more than 2,200 migrants were crossing the border daily on average, up from 790 in early June. Data shows that while single adults are still the largest demographic seen at the border, families are the fastest growing demographic of undocumented border crossings. Most of the migrants are from Central America and Mexico. Now, about 100 Virginia National Guard troops continue to work along the Texas-Mexican border. They were called into action by Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin to assist in Operation Lone Star. Hundreds of migrants crossing into Eagle Pass, Texas every day say it is better to take the chance of being arrested than to face what they left behind in Central and South America. But for the soldiers patrolling the border, including those from the Virginia National Guard, the job is to keep them from crossing illegally into the U.S.
And when you do come face to face, what's your job?
Just to deter them, tell them go cross back over and come across a legal point of entry.
That's what we've been dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Virginia's been out here since July 8th, I believe, and it's been a crazy day-to-day. So.
On Wednesday morning, the crew traveled about 5 miles downstream to the end of the wire on the U.S. side and saw dozens of migrants reaching the end of the patrol area. There, the migrants were taken by Border Patrol for processing.
Houston ISD eliminating librarian positions at 28 schools this upcoming year and converting the libraries into centers where students with behavioral issues will be sent. KPRC reports this is part of the new Superintendent Mike Miles reform program. Houston ISD says the remaining 57 schools' libraries will be assessed on a case-by-case basis. Superintendent Miles said students are behind on reading levels, especially in 4th grade.
The Beeville ISD board voted unanimously to put in random drug testing procedures within their schools. Chris TV in Corpus reports the board want to address what officials said is a rise of vaping and drug use among students there. The district will begin randomly drug testing students who take part in extracurricular activities and those who want to get a school driver's permit. School officials said they are looking at ways to stop vaping.
And the FDA has issued warning letters to several e-cigarette distributors. The agency accusing them of selling and distributing unauthorized products that appeal to minors. The distributors have 15 days to respond with steps they plan to take in correcting and preventing violations.
Pack the Bus is this Friday through Sunday. The Victoria Television Group, Faith Family, and HEB are collecting back-to-school supplies. We need your help this weekend. You can donate at both HEB locations. If you know a student who needs to sign up to get these school supplies, come to crossroadstoday.com. Distribution Day is set for Saturday, August 5th at Faith Family Church on Mockingbird. And join us tomorrow on 25 News Now at 5 and 6. 25 News Now reporter Darius McCormick will be live for the Pack the Bus at HEB Plus at 6106 North Navarro Streets.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can get Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6. In Michigan, a hearing will determine if a confessed school shooter will spend the rest of his life in prison.
Also ahead, in the Rio Grande Valley, people come together to help move trash for a small community there. A hearing in Michigan will determine if a confessed school shooter will spend the rest of his life in jail. Prosecutors argue 17-year-old Ethan Crumbley should be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. They say the 2021 mass shooting that killed 4 students was premeditated. Crumbley's defense team argued he should not be denied the possibility of parole because of his age, which was 15 at the time. The hearing could be extended into next week.
Here's your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. Here's the question. Should mass shooters who committed crimes as minors be eligible for parole? Yes or no? Let's look at the numbers. 12% of our voters said yes. 88% of our voters say no. We thank you for voting. We want to hear your opinion. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have an update on 25 News now at 10. Volunteers are helping residents of a small city in the valley. The residents have to pay to leave their trash at a dump site.
Nancy Mireles has lived in the Eldora Colonia for more than 18 years. She says throwing trash and other debris can at times be a burden.
Pues a mí se me hace mucho, más en esta área, porque no contamos con contenedores.
Because the colonia is outside of city limits, Mireles and others have to pay to leave their trash at a dump site. It's an expense some just cannot afford.
Sí, hemos estado tocando puertas para que nos ayuden.
Today, the help came. Proyecto Azteca teamed up with Hidalgo County Precinct 1 and a Connecticut church group to help clean up this area. Everything from old tires to pieces of old construction material and trash was picked up.
The county is really great, and they said, we'll take some dumpsters out, some trucks. If you have volunteers, they can throw the garbage in there.
Pastor Dylan Mello is one of the 13 volunteers from the church in Westport, Connecticut, who came to the valley to help.
The beautiful part is that we're working alongside folks and building relationship and building connection.
Some residents of this colonia are also getting help saving money on their electricity bill.
Over a year ago, we received a great donation of 14 solar panel systems from Sempra Energy and Solar Electric Light Fund, or SELF. And we have finally finished installing those 14 systems.
The solar panels were installed on 10 homes, including Mireles's.
Y es de una gran ayuda. Ahora eso que gastábamos en la luz podemos implementarlo en otra cosa.
This was Mireles's bill before she had the solar panels, which was about $200 that she was paying every month. After, she's now paying only $66.
I have seen the electrical bills. They have saved over the summer from last year to this, $300 a month. They are only paying the service fee.
Putting extra cash back into the pockets of those in need.
Yo les doy mucho las gracias a esas personas, ¿verdad?, que tocaron su corazón y voltearon a vernos a nosotros.
New research shows a more complete picture of how many people in each Texas county have Alzheimer's or dementia. According to the Alzheimer's Association, Victoria stands at 12.7%. Calhoun County stands at 11.8%, while DeWitt County reports 12.8%, with Lavaca County at 12.4%.
Meanwhile, Jackson County residents, 12% of them have Alzheimer's or dementia, according to the Alzheimer's Association. Goliad stands at 12.3%, Refugio reports 13.7%, and Wharton is at 13%.
To read more about the data percentage of Alzheimer's patients in each Texas county, come to crossroadstoday.com, where you can find more on today's news stories.
Believe it or not, yes, not quite as hot as what we've seen, but the heat, or more heat, or hot, will return. We'll talk about it coming up. right, we're getting close to that weekend. Let's break it all down. Now, rain chances, not that we've been seeing a lot of showers. We've had a few here and there, and we're seeing a couple pop-up showers along the sea breeze here in the viewing area. But rain chances will be on the decline or decreasing. Heat indices, yeah, believe it or not, we can see 115 and then some. So hot temps. It's just hot right now. Hot is going to return to the forecast area. So 98 degrees today. Now, that's a few degrees above where we're supposed to be. The thing is, our heat indices have come down a little bit. We're right around the 100-degree mark for a good portion of the viewing area. We know just a matter of weeks ago, we were at 117 and counting. We might see that again later on in the week. Back in 1954, 103 was our record. So winds, a little gusty earlier along the coast. We were seeing some 15, 20, 25 mile per hour winds as the sea breeze kind of moved in. Winds are a little gusty. That has seemed to calm down since winds, it's about 10, 12 mile per hour winds across the area. Now, I talked about these showers. Sea breeze moving a little bit of moisture in, kind of moisture colliding with moisture, if that makes sense, kind of running into one another. That lift, creating a few pop-up showers. 98% of the viewing area, they'll really see nothing in the way of any rain. Here's our dew points. These have come down, and with these down, so are our heat indice temperatures. Our calculated heat index. Look at the coast here. Mid to upper 70s, some spots in the 80s. You get away from the water, though, dropping into the 50s and the 60s. We say a lot of times, hey, we get to be about 60, 65, unreasonable, uncomfortable. Well, look at this. We're under 60. Here we are this time of year. So these numbers are on the lower side. As I mentioned, we're going to start to see high pressure move in with more moisture. These numbers will go up, as well as the ambient temperatures and the overall real fuel temperatures. But this is what the real fuel is right now. So Victoria at 100 now. We were a little bit less than that just a little bit ago. On the coast, some spots 105. You go out to the further west areas, in the low to mid 90s. So these temperatures a little bit on the lower side. I mean, we cooled off, but still, it's pretty much still on the hot, uncomfortable side. It's just a matter of how hot are we going to get. We're going to see temperatures. You probably add 10 to 15 degrees to some of those numbers later on in the week. So this is showing a little bit of an increase, but I think potentially we could, again, hit 117, 115, 117, 116 degree range. So yes, very much going to be on the warmer side. So sea breeze moving inland, pushing some moisture in, bringing a few showers. What's going to happen is high pressure is going to start closing back in on the area. And when that happens, I explain it all the time, the high pushes down, clears out the skies, allows a lot of sunshine, and we're going to see, again, some hot weather on the horizon, or hotter weather. I don't want to say that. I know we cool down, but again, we could be approaching heat wave caliber temperatures again that we've been seeing really for most of the summer. Here's our dust. Here's what's going on. All right, dust is around, but the dust looking to leave for a little bit. Okay, that'll help for allergy sufferers, asthma sufferers. That'll help a little bit. At the same time, if the dust leaves, that could open up the skies for showers, but I think high pressure will have something to say about that. So 93 for our water temperature. That is a lot of power, a lot of fuel for storms, but thank goodness we have none at the moment. Choppy seas, even though seas are just around 2 feet. Okay, here's what we have. We have a disturbance down there off the Cape Verde Islands. Now, there's about a 40% chance it strengthens over the next 6 to 7 days. I'll keep an eye on that storm. At the moment, not causing any problems. We'll be in the 80s this evening. Overnight, only dropping down to 81 degrees. Tomorrow, mid to upper 90s. Heat indices maybe pushing 100, 102. 20% chance of some showers. Looking ahead to the rest of the week, it's not really indicating here, but potentially later on in the week, again, we might be pushing 115 and counting. For more weather, news, and sports, you go to our app. That's at crossroadstoday.com. That is free with any Android and iPhone. And now we send it back to Karina.
Thanks, Howie. And now here's Sports Director Gina Perez.
Thanks, Karina. The Industrial Little League softball team gave it their all today. We have highlights after the break. At a crossroads, the Little League softball team from Industrial needs to win 2 in a row in order to make it to the Little League World Series, and they took on Texas West, which beat them earlier in the tournament. In the bottom of the third with 2 outs, Alexandria Mitchell goes yard to put West up 1-0, crushing blow for East. East still in it, but could not get any offensive going in the bottom of the 5th. West had bases loaded, and a shot up the middle brings in another run, and things would just continue to get worse. Another base hit would bring in 2 more, and unfortunately Texas East could not recover. They go on to lose 6-0, but great season from the team from Industrial. Well, the athlete of the week is a Little League star who is on a team that's made history. The Victoria Junior Little League baseball team has done something no other Victoria Junior League baseball team has done before: make it to the regional tournament. They did so with the help of infielder Landon Gandy. The first baseman came up big in the state title game against Lufkin, where he hit a double and was active on the base pass to make it home on a pass ball to score what would be the game-winning run. The incoming freshman said it felt good to come out victorious since falling short last season.
Obviously it feels great, but it's a team sport, and I feel like the whole team did their part to get us there and win.
Escaping the state title game with a victory by 1 run could give pause for some concern, but head coach and father to Landon, Lucky Gandy, had faith in his team and said going through tough games like this are going to make the team better prepared for the regional tournament.
I would be lying if I didn't say we weren't all a little nervous, because you just never know what happens. But at some point I just looked up and I said we got the right guys in the right spot, and they knew they were going to finish.
Landon and his team were honored at a Victoria Generals baseball game where they got to spend time with the team and run on the field for a prayer and the national anthem. The team is preparing to take on New Mexico's host team on August 4th. Landon said this team has helped him prepare for his high school season next year at Victoria East.
I just love playing with all my friends, and we have a great time out there, and we love to win, so really competitive team.
During the state title run, Landon had a .333 batting average with 3 doubles, 1 single, 2 walks, and 4 runs scored. On the mound, he pitched 9 innings in 2 games and had 16 strikeouts, gave up 0 earned runs, 2 walks, and only allowed 2 hits. These stats, along with scoring the go-ahead run, are the reasons why Landon Gandy is the athlete of the week. And speaking of the Victoria Generals, they are winning 5 in a row and beginning to heat up right before playoffs. General star Xavier Perez had 2 solo home runs in the game, and the Generals went off in the 8th inning, and that was the difference in the game. They go on to win 7-0 with the shutout. The Generals will host the Acadiana Cane Cutters tonight for the final home game of the season for the Generals. Well, that's your sports. Donna and Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Gino. We're back in a moment. An 18-year-old has come up with a way to share extra bagels on the Jersey Shore.
Boom Bada Bagel. Fresh bagels are big sellers along the Jersey Shore this time of year, but despite the crowds that line up for the bagels, there's sometimes a surplus. This bothered 18-year-old Brian Garabrandt so much, he started an effort last year to spare those bagels from the trash. Back for its second summer, Brian's Bagels donates the leftovers to more than a half dozen nonprofits in that area year-round. In Jersey, forget about it. You got some bagels there.
I thought you were from Texas, Don.
Well, I'm just doing a little accent.
you're
But
not.
I've known people from
That's
Jersey.
Too good. You're from Jersey all day long.
Yeah, that's right. Now, favorite bagel. What's your favorite bagel?
Favorite bagel. See, I used to work at Panera Bread as a kid, 16-year-old working at Panera, and I would say my favorite one, everything bagel.
Everything
Toasted,
bagel.
butter,
Okay.
cream
Howie?
cheese.
I mean, I'm fine with a plain bagel. Egg bagels are good, but we were just talking a minute ago, blueberry or raisin bagels.
Oh, yes.
That's your top one, Don?
Slice that in half, put some butter on, put it in the oven. Yes.
Good to go.
I feel like my diet is on the way out. at the
And
moment,
that'll
too.
make it hot. Speaking of hot,
Yes, again, well, we're cooler, but I can't say we're not hot. We are hot. 100 degrees plus for some of these heat indices, 80s overnight, and then for tomorrow or the rest of the week, we are looking at temperatures again in the triple digits with those heat indices.
all right, Howie, thank you, and thanks for joining us.
We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.